Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Hello, Internet. I was asked to do a build video on how I made my Axial Scx24 into the Axial Scx24 Midwest four-wheel drive monster truck. If you've seen my videos and you know what I'm talking about, hopefully you'll search for it if this is the first time you've seen it. But basically I took the stock Axial Scx24 alright, this is a cool old school little truck crawler, and I decided with the frame that it had that I could, with a little inspiration, create what essentially is this Matchbox Midwest four-wheel drive monster truck into a 1/24th scale version Midwest four-wheel drive 45 years of Bigfoot old school monster truck by taking the frame and lifting it up. First thing I did on this was I added I moved the shocks down from where they're supposed to be mounted on the body mounts down to the frame all the way around. And then, because I wanted to put these big meats on there that everyone seems to have awed over because it seems to be such a good idea. And then I still didn't have enough lift for these tires for the body that came with it. And I wanted to put a Ford body on it. So what I did was I added a cross member across the front, had 2 pins. I swapped it out for a single pin version of it, and then stacked some Lexan and glued it together, put some Velcro on it, put more Velcro on the bottom of the body, in the front and the back to the height that I wanted. Same with the back, there is a cross member going across, I believe from a deadbolt that I used. So I just grabbed some parts off of eBay and mounted up the Charisma Ford body that I painted blue and uses Midwest four-wheel drive decals that are just little water slide decals to create what looks like that original idea of an old school monster truck. Even has the 74, 75 grill before the 79 was on there. I added a Wrangler bumper because the C10 has its own bumper with the lights in it, and I removed those and put the lights into the bumper that comes off of the Jeep body. I believe that's where it came from. I don't remember exactly. But so once I had enough lift and enough body lift, I was able to put these big meats on it, and everyone's asking, where did you get those big meats from? And how did you do that? Right? How did you take this little tire that was on there and turn it into a big monster truck just by adding these big ferocious Todious tires? Well, Greenlight also, not only do they do a small 1/64th scale, but they also have this wonderful 1/18th scale 79 Ford Bigfoot model that uses these wheels and tire combination. So I got my hands on some of those through eBay, and I took out my drill, about a 1-inch drill, and I drilled from the back all the way through it so that I have access to what is the nut on the stock rim. Right? I took the stock rim and I hot glue gunned the stock rim inside of the Greenlight wheel and tire combination. Now, these are very heavy and not the spongiest, compared to what you get when it's stock. This could easily roll over a rock, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to crush some 1/24th scale cars. So that's what I did. I swapped out those tires. I lifted the body so that it would work. I moved the shocks down and got adjustable aluminum hot racing shocks so that I could adjust them down and get some nice spring to it. Added those bumpers in the front and the back, and even took the lights that were in the back out and fed them through to the roll bar just by cutting a hole in the bottom. I haven't quite glued these into position. I want to get 2 more so that I have a full roll bar of lights. But I mounted that in there, and then I thought, okay, I think I have a monster truck here. You know, there we go. It's got lights on the roll bar. I'm all done. And then I realized, even back in the old school days, Bob Chandler, in his wisdom, found out that he could put a front axle in the back. So that's what I did. I took out the rear axle and found out that the stock Axial Scx24 axle fits right in and still turns the right direction. That was key to me. That was key to this whole process. I could add 4-wheel steering. All I needed to add is a servo. Now these are big heavy meats of tires, so I upgraded the servo to the Emax servo. I believe it has metal gears in it. I'm not positive, but I know it's stronger. I've not had a problem with the servo moving these big tires, but in the process of this transformation, I wanted to make sure I didn't blow it, because I did blow out the motor at one point. All right, but they tend to blow anyway, and I just replaced it with the stock motor. But there I was. I had a front axle in the back. I split the servo for the front with the back and put a servo reverser in between it, so that what happens now is I have 4-wheel steering. All right, let's turn it this way so you can see it better. I have a real monster truck, because a real monster truck steers with all 4 tires. So when I turn left, the back wheels turn right. Now I can do donuts, I can crush cars, I can turn around without having to back up. All right. I also did one more thing. I added an electronic switch to the 3rd channel, and that's my finger. That's okay. Like I said, I'm new to this, but I added a 3rd channel to it, and just by flicking the remote on the stock piece, the lights turn off. Right? I do run it always in the high position. I don't run it in the low. I believe that could have been part of my problem when I was running it, that blew my motor. So I keep it so that it has full power. But with all the mods that I have, now I'm able to run a 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steering, Axial Scx24 or SMT24, I haven't decided yet. Old school Bigfoot Midwest 4-wheel drive monster truck. And that is my build video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, you know, like everyone says at the end of these videos, and hopefully stay tuned for more to come. I have some USA 1 decals that I want to put onto a stock clear body and come up with a old school original USA 1 monster truck, maybe even with the same Firestone Greenlight 48-inch tires. But that's what I did, and that's where I'm at. You know, I couldn't leave well enough alone in the end, so I did take it just a step further. I'm not sure how Bob Chandler did this. When he saw some 66-inch Goodyears, he said, I want to put that on my truck. And if you've been following me, you'll see that I did mount these up. These are Tamiya's TLT1 wheel and tire combination. It's a little bit smaller than Wheelie King, not the Wheelie King, sorry. The Wild Willie truck. A little bit smaller than that, the Midnight Pumpkin. But they happen to be just the right size. I could have glue gunned them in, but I can fit the stock wheel with the tire on it, and it sits in there nice and secure, mounts up, and the 4-wheel drive works, and the 4-wheel steering works. I don't blow out axles, I don't blow out motors. I don't run it very hard because I'm afraid to. I prefer these tires. I'm probably going to stick with these for a little bit, but may in some point decide that I will hot glue gun a set of stock rims inside the TLTs and have 66-inch tires. I'm just going to need a little bit more body lift because the body tends to rub. But That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Like and subscribe and have a good day.